Hi guys, so today we're having a look at the IT Cosmetics Superhero 4-in-1 brush. So it claims to be an all-over shadow brush, a crease brush, a smudger brush and a liner brush. So it's got this little bit on the back with the different settings kind of labelled out there, and it clicks between them. So this retails for £22, so if you want to think of it as 4 brushes, you can think of it as £5.50 per brush. But that's not always the best logic, because what you've got to remember with these in terms of their use and maintenance is, you know, you're going to be cleaning this guy quite a lot if you're using it for more than one function. So that's going to be kind of extra wear and tear on it that you wouldn't get necessarily as much with individual brushes. So regardless, I have used this to do my makeup today, so we are going to have a look at it. Unlike some of the double-ended brushes from IT Cosmetics, this doesn't come with a lid, so it's not really designed for on the go despite its kind of multi-function. And the handle's this really weird shape by the time you're going to use the angled brush. And so yeah, so as I said, we've done our makeup of it today. We'll see how it goes and we'll see what the verdict is. So let's try this out. I've already got primer on and I'm going to zoom you in because, you know, we're working on the eyes, so let's look at those and ignore the rest of my really spotty skin. I'm just going to use the Shade and Light quad in Plum, and I've got my normal kind of skin toned shadow on the side as well. So I'm going to start with the setting at the, ooh, are we going to focus? Go on, you can do it, you can do it. So we're going to start with a kind of all over, which is the big fluffy one. Yay, autofocus, right. So I'm just going to dunk that into my kind of creamy coloured shadow and dust that all over my brow area. So this is really soft. All the IT Cosmetics brushes I've touched have been insanely soft. So, you know, I want to buy more of them, but they're so expensive. Okay. So that's done a nice job of that. While we've still got it in kind of big fluffy mode, I'm also going to dunk into the second lightest shade in this quad and just go for a bit of a transition colour. Oh god, I had a total brain fart there. Mornings are fun. So okay. I mean, this is like much bigger than the brushes I would normally use for this, but actually really liking it. So then I'm obviously trying to work from like lightest to darkest a bit more since we're using well, one set of bristles, which is apparently 4 brushes, but one set of bristles. So I am going to go in with a mixture of the second darkest and the lightest shade for my lid. I find if I don't mix the two of these together that the lid and the crease doesn't look a whole lot different. So, and also I just don't want my makeup to be quite that dark. I am just going to work today, so I feel like this is maybe a little bit too big for my lids, certainly. I feel like I'm having to be quite careful, especially coming into like the corners and things. Although there are people out there with different shapes and sizes of eyes, and some people will have a much easier time with this than me. If you've got hooded eyes, you'll probably find it quite hellish to try and use this as an actual lid brush. But I can do it if I'm careful, basically. So I'm gonna switch to the Smudger brush, so the smallest one, just to kind of like place my crease colour. Because like I said, this is a lot bigger than brushes that I normally use, so I'm just gonna kind of smudge and stamp this into my kind of outer V. And drag it into the crease a bit. So this feels a little bit awkward. I'm trying to use this for this. But then I don't know if you would want to use a brush. I don't know if you want to use a brush this size for like smudging your lower lash line either. We will try it once I've done my foundation and things. So I'm going to switch it back to the crease function where it's a bit bigger and fluffier, and just have a little blend. So I think if I'm careful, I probably can use colour with it in this setting rather than the smudger setting, and that might work a little bit better. But I mean, yeah, I mean, we've definitely just done our eyes with one brush. So I'm going to go and do my foundation. I'm going to also even this up actually. Yeah, so I'm going to go do my foundation and things off camera, and I'm going to come back and we'll try smudging the lower lash line, and we're going to use the other end of this for our brows. And yeah, so I will be right back. Right, we are back. So I'm just going to grab my palette again. We're going to attempt the under eye smudge, and I'm hoping this doesn't go disastrous and I don't end up with raccoon eyes for work. So I'm going to go into the second darkest shade. And well, that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot. No. Okay, so in terms of a smudger brush, I don't think you would use this for, just smudging eyeshadow under your lash line. Maybe if you'd already applied a pencil liner, you could smudge it out with that. But the fact is, this is covered in product from doing the rest of my eye, so it's quite a large surface area, and those two things combined, you're going to get a lot of colour under the eye. So let's try the angled brush for my brows. I am of course going to work, so unfortunately the coloured brows are not happening today. It's just going to be brown. So let's see. So they have labelled this as liner, but I don't use gel liners anymore. So we'll just see how it works for... Oh, that's really weird because it goes really like flat and it feels weird to hold that. So, okay. But it's a good stiff, thin angle brush. Not like uncomfortable stiff, but like it's not gonna flop all over the place and do weird things. I really wish I was doing my purple brows today. Oh well. Maybe I'll add some purple later after work when I'm going to ice hockey. So this is maybe a little bit thinner than I would normally use for my brows. It's taking a little bit more, well, basically just a little bit more time, a little bit more strokes. But it's a nice angled brush, and I think if you were somebody that used angled brush for liner, you're going to get like a super, super thin line off of this. I mean, like, It's so thin. And ignore the stained nails. I dyed my hair last night, so still haven't got around to scrubbing the hell out of them. Actually, no, I try not to scrub them too badly to get rid of the dye because it's not great for them. Usually I paint over it and leave them alone for a while. But I was up quite late doing my hair last night, so I haven't had a time to paint over them. Okay, so the fact that I'm going in with more strokes is kind of making this harder to get them to match in a way. I don't know, more strokes is more chances to mess up, really, isn't it? At least that's the way I'm kind of feeling about it just now. But anyway, so let's zoom all the way out and look at our finished, well, almost finished look. I don't have lipstick on or mascara on. Right, so as you can see, you know, you can definitely get a full eye look with this brush. So going through the different settings, the all over brush, if you were using the exact same colour all over from lash to brow, yeah, it would be an all over brush. As you saw, it was a little bit big just trying to get like the lid one colour, and if you had smaller eyes or hooded eyes, you're going to have a bigger problem with that as well. The crease brush, okay, cool, like that. It was nice. It was a little bit bigger than what I'm used to using, but it done a really nice job. The Smudger brush, I'm not loving. For placing colour, I felt like it didn't do a great job, and I wanted to use it for that because the crease setting was so big and fluffy. I wanted a little bit more control over the colour. And then when it came to doing the lower lash line, unless this was impeccably clean to begin with, you're going to have quite a lot of surface area, and you're going to make quite a large smudged area, which is not really my cup of tea. Angled brush, it's a really nice brush, it's really fine. If you're using it for liner, you're going to get a really fine line. Personally, I don't like using angled liner brushes. I do quite a rounded flick when I do liner, and especially with a brush this wide, I would find it really quite awkward to do that. But it done a reasonable job on my brows. I just find this shape a little bit awkward because it's almost like, you know, you can't hold it at different angles easily because it's, you know, it's rectangular basically. It's an abrupt shape, it's not round, it's not like whatever angle you hold it at, it's the same level of comfort in your hand. So personally, I'm not in love with this. I don't see myself reaching for a huge amount, mainly because of the fact that it is double-ended and I can't store it upright with my other brushes. My double-ended brushes end up sitting on my vanity, and then I just end up with loads of products and I don't always see them and reach for them. So I think whether this is you know, a good buy or a good buy is going to be a lot of personal preference. For me, I've got it, I'll use it when I remember it and it catches my eye, but I'm not seeing it being in my everyday rotation. So yeah, if you guys have got any questions, please leave them down below and I will get back to you. And if you've tried this brush, let us know what you think about it. You know, everybody's different. And hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye.